Muhammad Ali's childhood home in Kentucky just hit the market. Drake and Kendrick Lamar are now trying to outdo each other in real estate. They both just bought new mansions, and Gwyneth Paltrow just listed her home in LA. She wants $30 million. These high interest rates don't seem to be having much of an impact on celebrities. They're still buying and selling real estate just like they always have been. So Drake buys this $15 million mansion in Texas. It's actually more like a ranch. And then Kendrick Lamar goes on to buy a $40 million mansion in LA. These two have been all over the news with their rap beef the last couple of months, but I guess there's some real estate beef that's heating up here too. First, let's look at Drake's new place. I've got this bar here because I'm trying to keep it somewhat private, but this place has 14 bedrooms, 14 bathrooms, and 14,000 square feet. What's crazy though is, like I said, this is more like a ranch, so this place has been a resort for the past 17 years. It's got 313 acres of rolling landscapes, they say, a bunch of stocked ponds. There's all kinds of outdoor activities to do here, equestrian facilities, organic farming. From this angle, doesn't feel much like a resort. It kind of does just look like a big mansion. But when you zoom out, you see all this going on here. I mean, he's got 313 acres, so I'm guessing that like everything in this vicinity all belongs to this one property. The entrance to the house goes on forever. It's probably like a mile-long driveway. But yeah, inside is where it starts to feel a little bit more like a resort and less like a house. There's a restaurant in here, at least one. There might be more than one restaurant. There's a bunch of random places to just sit and hang out all over the property. This is the entrance to what they call the show barn. Didn't know that Drake was into horses, but he must be if he bought this place, right? There's all these like guest cottages or cabins on the property, so I don't know, I counted probably like 6 or 7 of these things earlier. The lady who wrote this article was able to get in touch with the listing agent who did confirm this sale and said that yeah, Drake definitely bought this place, but she didn't say anything about what he plans to do with it. Drake's got a crazy net worth, so something tells me he's not buying this as a real estate investment. He's probably buying the property for himself and for his friends and family. I told you guys that Kendrick bought a place too. Sorry to break it to you, we have basically no photos of Kendrick's new mansion. All we know about it is that it's in Mandeville Canyon and he spent $40 million on the place. Plus it was an off-market deal, so it's not showing updated in the records online yet, but here's the cover shot from the last listing when it sold in 2019. It sold for $19.5 million back then. That was just 5 years ago. And Kendrick just paid $40 million for this house. So whoever the previous owner of this place was just walked away with a massive payday. The full house just hit the market, and you are going to get a lot of attention. If you buy this one, they're asking $6.5 million. This Victorian style home is located at 1709 Broderick Street in San Francisco, and oddly enough, is recognized as the Full House only because of the opening credits of the show ending with a shot of this property. In reality, all of the interior scenes of the show were actually filmed at a studio in LA. So yeah, none of the interior shots here are going to look anything like the show. They kick this listing off with a shot of the kitchen. I'm a pretty big fan of the blue cabinets. That dark navy blue contrasts really nice with the marble countertops and the wood floors. In general, I usually prefer when you paint a house all one color, but this shade of green on the walls by the front door is pretty nice. They did a great job with the furniture. It's kind of weird. This house was actually built in 1883, so this place is like 150 years old, and it has some of the original character from that original architecture, but the furnishings make it look a lot more modern for sure. You're usually not gonna have too much for a backyard this part of San Francisco, but they got a nice little garden area out back here. See, look at that. From the top, you got a little dining area, a seating area around a fire pit, another lounge area in the back, some garden beds, tons of privacy. Pretty legit. They rounded out with a floor plan of this place, so I think it's kind of funny that they don't even show the exterior of this house once in all of these listing photos. Most people are not going to want to be living in a tourist attraction. You're gonna have people walking by your house every day taking pictures of it, so maybe they're trying to disguise that here. I don't know, they're not fooling us though. Now the next story is a little bit of a change of pace. Steph Curry bought a property in San Francisco. Not a house though, more like a warehouse. This one is located at 620th Street, which I understand is just a vacant building as of now. The most recent signs here show a place called the Olympia was here before, and then there's another sign hanging off the side that says Jim's Smoke Shop. This article here is telling us that what Steph Curry might be doing with this building is converting it into basically like a home base for where he operates all of his business ventures called 30 Inc. There's this proposal that was filed with the city that outlines that what he wants to do is actually tear the old building down and then rebuild a 25,000 square foot 5-story building in its place. I was able to dig up this rendering of what that plan would look like. It's a lot nicer looking than that old building. Remember, let's go back to this. This is what the current building looks like, and then this is what the new 5-story building would look like. Apparently the first couple of floors would be like office and retail space, and then the entire top floor would be a 3-bedroom residential unit. I'm assuming maybe that's a place where Steph Curry would stay after games. Because check it out. This is where he plays his home games at the Chase Center, and this is where his new property is at. It's only like a half a mile away. This is another one of those situations where I love just kind of breaking it down and figuring out whether or not this makes sense to a traditional investor as a real estate investment. So Steph Curry paid $8.5 million for this building, or let's just call it a lot because he plans on tearing it down. If he does build that 5-story, 25,000 square foot building in its place, he's probably going to spend something like $6 or $7 million to build that out. So now he's going to be all into this deal for about $15 million. For holding cost, he probably doesn't need to pay anything because I'm assuming that he's just paying all cash to finance this build. So that helps him out a little bit, although there will be some property taxes and insurance along the way, but that's going to be next to nothing in the grand scheme of things. According to LoopNet, the average rent rate in San Francisco right now for office space is about $60 per square foot. So I know we're using pretty general numbers here, but let's say you're that average investor who bought the place, built out this 5-story building, then you rent out all 25,000 square feet at the rate of $60 per square foot. That investment is going to be making you about $1.5 million per year in income. $1.5 million per year in income divided by your $15 million in cash invested to this property. You're looking at about a 10% return on your money. Not all that bad, especially considering that doesn't even account for appreciation and all your tax benefits that come with owning rental properties. So from an investment standpoint, this feels like a pretty good deal. Muhammad Ali's childhood home is for sale, and I'm not gonna lie, this is obviously not some big crazy mansion, but it is a special house. Let's check it out. So they want $1.5 million for the house. It's located in Louisville, Kentucky, and Muhammad Ali lived here from 1947 until 1961. So he spent most of his childhood here. He was 5 years old when he and his family moved in here. It's got 3,300 square feet, so it's a decent size, but it's only a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. And unlike that full house that we were looking at earlier, where they were trying to hide the fact that that house had some history, this place has got a plaque right out front. It's got this cool pink exterior with a nice little porch. And I guess the story here is that a boxing commissioner bought this house after it was kind of falling apart. He converted it into a museum. He bought the couple houses next door here to turn those into like a welcome center and just expand the property a little bit. But unfortunately, the museum didn't really make it through the pandemic. And so from what I understand, at this point, the house has just been kind of sitting there collecting dust. So for the price of $1.5 million, you end up with a decent amount of land. You get 3 houses. But the thing about this one is that they're kind of marketing this to somebody who's going to convert these houses back into a museum, or basically keep them as a museum and keep operating them that way. So this is kind of a unique opportunity. You're not going to buy this house and just move into it. I don't think the numbers would make sense for anybody to do that. It's overpriced for the neighborhood for sure. What you're going to do is you're going to buy this place because you're just a lover of history or of boxing. You're going to open it up to the public. It probably won't be the best return on investment, but it will make for kind of a trophy property in your portfolio that you can open up to the world to enjoy. All right, Gwyneth Paltrow is moving to Montecito. She just listed her house in Brentwood, and she wants $30 million. Now, records say that she bought this house in 2012 for $10 million, so she gets $30 million. This is going to be a massive payday. The house has 8 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, 12,000 square feet. $2,350 per square foot is where the asking price is at. That is just insane. So check out the inside. Tons of natural light, tons of privacy, really cool details up here on the ceiling. Big backyard. They said the lot itself is about 30,000 square feet and it's all flat. I'm gonna guess this kitchen was renovated a little while ago, probably closer to when she bought the place, but honestly, it still looks pretty good. There's a couple of fireplaces in here. I think this is the front door. Honestly, a little underwhelming for a $30 million house. And they don't load it up with too many photos, but I think you guys get the general idea and vibe. $30 million price tag on this one is mainly all about the location. It's a good house, but it is an A+ location. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you enjoy this series, make sure you're subscribed. Click the subscribe button down below before you go. We're putting new videos just like this one out every couple of weeks, and there's plenty of other amazing series that are coming out here on the Estate Media YouTube channel. I'll see you guys next time.